All right, and good evening, friends. Welcome back to Wrong Side of the Wall, Season 2, A Walk Through the Wastes, Episode 5. The transaction is tonight. And right off the top, we're going to play us our recap, graciously recorded by Richard. Thank you very much, Richard. And here we go.
Last time, on a walk through the wastes, Errant Ways was approached by two members of the Brotherhood of Steel, demanding he relinquish his armor or face death at their hands. But in response, Ways reminded the men of why the legends of his strength were still true, shattering the leg bones of one man in a single blow through his powered armor, and by taking direct laser fire to the chest and simply shrugging it off. The Brotherhood members stood down and were convinced of seeing what they could do to help save the Edmonton Mall from its imminent destruction. The Order was pushing in, ready to take the mall from Hute Downer and his men for his lack of cooperation. But we have yet to watch the great indoors burn. Noah Moore and his faithful Mr. Handy, Murphy, were led by the mayor to see a man by the name of Virgil Thames, a shut-in living in a hardware store rigged to explode at the lightest touch, harboring a despicable secret. He once met with the broker in order to heal his sick wife, but what came out on the other end was twisted, technological, and resembling that of a ghoul. Thames was convinced to share the location of the secret broker bunker with Noah, and additionally revealed that Downer had made a similar request of the broker to get his stockpile of weapons. For what he gave in return, he was not sure. Together, the party ventured 3 days out to the marker left on the Pit Boy. What they had found at the coordinates was a massive and solid block of metal, completely enclosed, but only needed to be knocked on in order to get it open. A projectron, the voice of the broker, guided the men into the opulently designed bunker, one by one, to deliver onto the broker their deepest wishes.
I would like a way back to the reality that I came from.
I need to have a way to maintain ownership of this armor. And on top of that, I just need to know the truth.
A set of keys belonging to the man David Joyce.
I want closure. My wife and a little baby daughter, a few hundred feet from the New Toronto vault. We had passes. They could have made it. I'd just like to know one way or the other.
Dinner. He procures the torn leash of a dog. I want my dog back.
The broker's projectron acknowledged these requests and stated they were all possible, but they would first have to enter and locate a missing piece of technology hidden inside a Vault-Tec competitor's vault first. And it would be nearly 2 weeks to complete the journey in total. 2 weeks until their wishes could possibly be granted. In 2 weeks, these men may find they have everything that they have never wanted. The end begins, this time on a walk through the wastes.
Nice. Love it. Thank you so much, Richard.
And that is why I always volunteer to do my recap first.
I particularly liked the line, these men may get everything they never wanted. I really liked that. Thank you so much for that, and let us set the scene. You have departed from the broker bunker. A very fun thing to say.
You mean the bronker?
The bunker.
The bronker.
The bronker. And the voice of the broker has informed you that this vault that you are looking for is some 6 days away. So your journey has begun. So we're going to start things off with a couple of conversations. So this would be...
I'm afraid you can't call it a vault, since that's a registered trademark of Vault Tech.
You're right.
Now you owe them royalties?
Shelter.
Hold on.
It's a shelter.
Okay.
No, this is what it's actually called.
It's a malt. Alt.
Called Alt Rec.
It's the Almar, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
They decided to enact the Control-Alt-Delete program.
Yes, there we go. Yeah, their social experiment was how many times can you do Control-Delete over and over again? They just kept giving everyone 404 images. And
Nothing
how
but
it's
Windows
all
95 forever.
Yeah.
Sounds like it wasn't that big a loss.
Just Minesweeper. So only Minesweeper. Anyways, so we're about halfway across the journey. The journey has been quiet, which is nice, I suppose. There hasn't been a lot of sign of life or activity on the horizon, which is both potentially unsettling as well as okay, because it means at least that the order is not coming this direction at the moment. You figure at this point, if there's anything left of Edmonton, it is surely in their clutches, and potentially there is nothing left of Edmonton. But we're about halfway through the journey, and at this time I am going to cast the spotlight over to Dr. Diaz and Murphy, who have both requested a conversation. So, gentlemen, why don't you tell me when you two might have caught the moment to chat? And then begin chatting.
All right. Murphy, correct me if there's anything that you're like, no, that doesn't sound quite right.
Sure.
I think as we're traveling along, Dieth pulls out his cane, snaps it to its full extension, is walking along with the group, but he tends to lag a little bit behind. The rigors of a few hundred years on his frame have not been without their mark left. And soon he finds himself in the company of Murphy, who, although his locomotion is easy, it's not necessarily as fast as the rest of the group.
Mm-hmm.
And the two of them just walk or hover, respectively, along for a while in each other's company, quiet. So, and I'm going to ask what it is that you asked. You seemed, I don't know, enthused when you came out of the broker's bunker there.
Well,
your chances are pretty good.
It seemed like it was an easy task.
If that's so, you wouldn't have had to ask. You would have accomplished it already.
That is true. But perhaps this broker has a certain way of doing this that I don't.
Oh, I sure hope that he does. No one can fault you for your persistence. That's for certain.
And you, Doctor?
Me? What about me?
Is your task as simple as mine?
Simpler, maybe. It's not like I'd be able to confirm it one way or the other.
It is what you want, is that correct?
Honestly, I'm not sure that I really want to know. I'm not sure that I want the answer that I asked for. But I've got nothing better to ask for. It's the only thing that's been on my mind for all this time.
You and I share that. My mind is unable to focus on anything else, sir.
That's not the only thing we share, Murph. Memories of a world that was, if not kinder, then at least more comfortable. A lot more people. More of your kind, too.
Many
A lot more
more.
everything.
Do you wish to rest an arm on me while we travel?
It's kind of you, Murph, but no. I'm doing all right. You have that inclination, don't you? To help. You're always trying to find some way to fit in and give assistance.
It is the way I am, sir. Just like you. It is a need.
Yeah, stops as you say that. His expression, what there is of it, thoughtful and almost disturbed. And then he starts walking again. I guess you're right. Everyone needs to have a purpose.
By any chance, have you seen a pair of keys?
Keys? Like car keys?
That's right, sir.
Lots, but not recently.
What a shame.
Tell you what, I'll keep my eyes open.
As shall I.
Neither of us have any choice in that.
This is true.
Nice.
And they continue walking. Or
Very nice.
hovering.
Yes, as the case may be. Yes, Murphy walking and Dr. Diaz hovering, yes. As we all know.
He's got his saw blade to the ground. And he's just...
Along the sand, yeah. That's right.
I'm going to
Like a
stand a little
unicycle.
to this side, Murph. You kicking up a bit of dust there.
So, and of course,
He
Diaz does
picks
have
up,
a
he picks up a few ammo off the ground and then tosses them aside.
Mm.
Nope, that's not it.
Oh no. Huh. Incidentally, Murphy found ammo.
He throws a mini nuke somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, that's not anything. There's a fat man behind him and goes off.
I wasn't looking for a fat man.
Not quite what I was looking for.
Mr. Joyce was very fit.
Okay. A couple more days pass. And now we are approaching day number 6, and we're approaching the general area that the robot pointed you in, Noah, on your Pip-Boy. He couldn't pinpoint exactly where this vault was, but he gave you like a swath of land to investigate, which we will get to in a moment. But before that happens, John, I'm going to pass the spotlight over to you.
Yeah. As we start to near our destination, at some point, John, during the travels, sort of pulls Noah aside, probably even while they're still walking, and from like a standpoint of like travel and movement, John is still keeping up with the group and everything, but like just to look at him, he's starting to get circles under his eyes. It's pretty clear that he hasn't been resting as he normally would.
Right.
And during their travel, he pulls Noah aside and he goes, Noah, I've done a lot of stuff. I got this weird power. In my world, it's not, nobody that I know of also has this power, but powers aren't really that weird. But, back home, there's a lot of people to look up to. There's a lot of people who do a lot of bad things. And, the longer I've been here, the more I'm wondering, how do you survive day by day? How are you able to find purpose in this place? Because This is really got me thinking. I gotta know if you got any advice.
An interesting query you've brought to me. I will say, and he passes over his branded Vault 14 canteen over to John. I will say that what you have seen us do in the last time that you've been with us, that is it, I guess. I came from a vault that taught me how to survive in whatever world was going to be outside, and I do what I can. Ideally, at some point, it's possible that I could pass by some landmark or a city or some kind of settlement. Well, not Edmonton, because there's enough problems there, but maybe something similar, maybe something smaller, maybe it would lend itself to settling down and not be constantly on the move. But this is a big country, John. This is a gigantic place to cover. And until I find that thing, whatever it would actually be that I'm looking for in the end, where I would like to lay my head down, this is what life is. This is how we survive.
But it's just so. Where I come from, we've got, cities, a society. There are thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people, doing what they do. And people like me, we go out there every day to try and make sure these people are safe. We're heroes, whatever that means, right? But I've never thought about why it is I really do that. There are bad people. We stop bad people. We stop bad things from happening. We help people. This place that we're in is such a paradigm shift to where I'm from. That, there are bad people out here, yes, but just generally everything is bad and empty. And it's got me wondering, I've been facing a lot of things recently. Black Talon. I told you this guy's bad news. I kind of went over it. He's like a weird alter version of a hero from my world, Blue Talon. Now, Blue Talon is like the ultimate hero. He's like
He's your Grognak the Barbarian.
Sure, he's Grognak the Barbarian, whatever that means. And he does great things. He's a paragon of justice. He keeps people safe. He keeps the spirit of heroism alive. But then there's Black Talon, and he's completely the opposite. But he's the same person, just from a different timeline. I don't know. Maybe it's just this wasteland has got me thinking, why am I the way? What would it have taken? How long would I have to be in this wasteland before I stop caring about other people and I just start worrying about surviving? How can you live in a place that's so desolate that it takes away, ideals like that? Is there something I can? Do you have some kind of method, something that could help me stick to what I know?
Well, back in the year 2077, or prior to October of 2077, life was fine. Life was wonderful and beautiful, and people lived, and sure, there was conflict, and there was war, and China had their own stuff going on, and, well, we can idealize the past any way that we want to, I think. 200 years in this world has proven that no matter how bad it could possibly get, things can only get better. You have, I guess in a way, a privilege of seeing what a proper world would have been like. This is the only world that I've ever known, and the most that I know about this, about anything that has come before, is from what I have heard from, well, Murphy, the doctor, and the education that I've received while in my vault. The world is as it is, regardless of where you started and where you come from. I think in the end of it, it's about where you are going to be going, what you're doing with those abilities and things. We didn't go into the Edmonton Mall and shoot everybody up because we had no reason to. We didn't murder 2 Brotherhood of Steel paladins because we did not need to. We didn't continue a ghoul hunt because we did not need to. And yet, the doctor who has suffered hundreds of years of pain and misery has been doing nothing but giving back every location we've stopped at. Murphy, who has lived just as long as the doctor, has done exactly the same. You see how often he checks up on all of us. He's watched you as you slept. I've seen it. Our world may not be perfect, but I'm sure wherever you came from also was not. And how many extra years could it have been until you've reached the same point, where everything is gone, and only 200 years later can things really start to be normal again? Whatever normal is. So if you're having a crisis of conscience, John, I don't have much to give you. I'm not sure that I am a good person. I don't need to be a good person. I just need to not shoot every motherfucker that crosses my path.
Yeah. I guess you make a decent point. I guess just the thing that worries me is that I'm trying so hard to adapt to living in this big empty wasteland. I'm just worried that eventually maybe those, bad choices will just seem tempting because goddamn, they would have been so much easier.
Were they tempting where you came from?
No.
Not at all, not in the slightest. You can shoot a gun literally behind your back and still somehow hit whatever you would like in the face. I've seen it happen, John. And you have these incredible things that I've only seen able to do with, and he holds up his Pip-Boy, with technology like this. And you do it naturally.
Right.
And this thought has
That's
never
the
occurred to you
problem.
before.
That's the problem. It would be so much easier here to get away with it. I could take advantage.
You could. And the fact that you say it would be easier is very telling, John. Regardless of whatever this place ends up doing to you by the time you do leave, and yes, I do believe that you will get to leave. Whatever this world to you does to you, maybe don't forget that there were some good things to learn here as well. And remember what the consequences of those bad things did to towns like Edmonton. You're not lighting an entire city on fire because of your decisions, John. You're allowed to fuck up. There's always coming back. Clearly, we're on the way over to a vault. I guess not a vault, but we're on our way over to find what we need to, well, restore you to where you need to be and get the rest of our lives on track. The world is far gone, but we made it better. We are possibly as far gone as we could be, but there's always tomorrow. More opportunities, more chances, John. And there will be in every place that you will ever be. Luckily, this country, and I guess by extension your world, are very large places. You can find a new place to settle down if you do fuck up.
All right. I think I get what you're saying. Just because things are at rock bottom doesn't mean I should dig a hole to make them worse. There's always upwards, even if
You can
it's the
also-
harder path.
You could also continue tunneling down until you see the other side of the planet. It's up to you. Like I said, I'm not a good person. I know what I've done to get here, John. So, take my words with as many grains of salt as you can. But from, I guess, a friend to a friend, I don't think you're going to need to worry about that. You've been here and done nothing but good, in a place that should make you do anything but.
Nice. Okay. Thank you. That was fantastic. And a conversation with a lot of weight. We'll see where that goes today. Before we move on to the discovery of this not vault, I will answer a question from the chat, which was in regards to luck points. There are 3 primary things you can do with luck. One of them is called Luck of the Draw, which is basically whenever you're hunting for something or looking for something or in some kind of the process of like exploring, you can spend a luck point or multiple luck points, depending what it is, in order to stumble upon something lucky. For example, when you go to scavenge, you can spend luck to make sure that you find ammo for your gun, or make sure that you find food that's less contaminated than otherwise, or something like that. The second thing you can spend it on is called Stacked Deck, which allows you, whenever you make a skill test, to swap out luck for whatever the normal attribute would be. So let's say you're making a survival roll, and your endurance sucks, but your luck's better than your endurance stat, you can spend a luck point to swap in luck for the survival roll and use that instead of endurance. And the third thing you can use luck for is called Lucky Timing, which allows you to change your initiative order for 1 turn. And it just allows you to basically go whenever you want to, instead of when the initiative tells you you have to. So those are the 3 uses for luck.
Okay, so you can't use them to like re-roll dice or anything like that.
No.
Okay.
No, that's momentum. Or
Okay.
special abilities or whatever.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
not
they-
luck points, unfortunately, or destiny, or not luck points. Destiny points is
They
what
are
they were
luck
called,
points,
right?
not destiny points.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Just clarifying that. So like I said, you come into the general vicinity. So Noah, you are learning on your Pip-Boy that you've sort of hit the border of this sort of swath of land that you're supposed to be looking for. A quick sweep up and down, left and right, pretty much indicates that the landscape doesn't seem to have changed too much. So the entrance of the vault is either like around the side of a nearby hill or mountainside or whatever, or it's like in the ground and just not visible yet. But the area around you is just basically mostly flat, deserty plain with the occasional hill, a couple of mountains way off in the distance. Hopefully it's not over there. Some hills, and I mean you are in Alberta, so there's still a lot of like prairie plains areas. Most of this is flat, with the occasional break of hills or whatever. And very much sort of like a desert climb now, of course. So you guys can chat amongst yourself how you search this, but this is essentially a search and however you decide to cut it or discuss it amongst yourselves who conducts the search, basically, I need somebody to make an athletics check and somebody to make a survival roll. So,
Pre-question or question before this. What kind of vision modes does my armor have?
what kind of vision modes does your armor have? Oh, that's a good question.
We established last time that he had at
Has he
least
found the
animal.
X-ray visor yet?
You have you found the X-ray. You have you have an infrared / thermal like view, and you probably have some kind of night vision mode.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming if I were to switch through those, I wouldn't be seeing anything different.
No, not particularly.
Okay.
Everything's pretty bright and hot.
Okay. Just check.
But good question.
And also, now that you said that they're not in the mountains, clearly they're going to be in the mountains.
So, feel free to figure out how you want to go back to search in character, but at the end of the day, I will need somebody to roll athletics and somebody to roll survival. So.
Can you describe a little bit more about the immediate area in terms of geographic structures?
Mm-hmm. Sure. You're kind of at, like I said, there's mountains coming up on one side. So because you kept going west, right? So eventually you're gonna hit the Rockies or whatever. You're not quite there, but you've been like traveling in a straight line west for a long time. And
the spine of the world.
Yeah. So the mountains are off in the distance. You can start to sort of those of you with good eyes can sort of kind of see mountains off in the distance. But you're still very much in like a flat prairie-esque kind of place. Pre-nuclear bombs dropping, this probably would have been endless wheat fields and corn crops and farmlands and all of that. And right now it's just very flat, sandy desert with the occasional rolling hills.
You said athletics and survival?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, preferably one person rolls one and one person rolls the other.
Can you kind of help explain why the two were needed and not just like a survival for...
The survival roll is abstracting the actual search for it, because we've said survival is kind of our perception check.
Mm-hmm.
And the athletics check is an abstraction of actually getting to the vault entrance is a bit of... there's a bit of a climb. There's a bit of like a moving around rough terrain.
Got it.
So whoever's doing the pathfinding on that needs to roll athletics, basically.
As I guess I was going to say as an action or as a suggestion, Noah goes and taps around his Pit Boy and checks out like radio frequencies and things. Is he picking up anything?
Oh, that's interesting. Yes and no. You're picking up interference just sort of from like the air and the heat and stuff like that. There is a signal actually nearby. Like someone's just left like a weak radio on loop for a while. Why don't you roll science for me?
Science.
You can sub in luck if you want.
Can he ask for assistance with working out the import of the signal?
Yeah, let's see how this goes first.
Okay. Yeah, you can ask for assistance.
That's nothing.
That's nothing.
Can I spend a luck point then to sub in luck?
Instead of intelligence?
Yes.
Sure.
It's one extra point.
Yeah. Sure. Well, that would just raise it to 6, right? You're supposed to call that before you roll.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. But basically, it would raise what you rolled to a 6, which would still be no successes because you got 2 8s. Yeah.
Murphy, could you give me a hand over here? You seem to be a lot better at perceiving the environment than I am.
Why? What are you looking for?
Well, I'm trying to see some of these vaults. You can kind of triangulate their position by using radio frequency. It's going to depend on if there's power to it and a couple other things. But some vaults have very weak signals that you can tap into over the radio. And I wanted to see if there was any information that they could be broadcasting, whether it could be an SOS or some kind of message as well. So you never know.
Okay.
Just had to check.
Dieth walks over to them as they're having the discussion. You've got it tuned to Vault-Tec frequencies. This isn't Vault-Tec. And he points out a couple of things. Do you mind if I rolled science to see if I can give him a hand here?
Uh-huh. Or rather, I don't mind. Go ahead.
All right.
Ooh.
Oh, dear.
Oh, with a complication. Interesting.
Mm.
I think you broke the knob on his Pip-Boy.
Oh, beans.
Okay. Sure. All right. Interesting. Okay. Yes, you are successful in helping him retune to better find the frequency. But I'll give you a rough choice.
All right.
Number one, the Pip-Boy sparks a little bit and causes minor damage to Noah's arm, inflicting 2 HP. Or the Pip-Boy spazzes out a little bit and will never quite be as useful again.
Ouch. That doesn't sound any
What
good.
what damage type would this be considered?
Because of
Typeless?
energy.
Energy?
Because of my armor and its plating stuff, I get 3 DR on my outfit.
Oh, no. That damage was already adjusted for DR.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Let's go with damage.
Yeah.
It sparks and you get a little mini fire as your hairs singe.
Yeah.
And Dieth just kind of looks at you flailing wildly or patting yourself out or whatever. I have some cream for that.
Sometimes
And,
this 200-year-old technology just doesn't do what you want it to.
Well, it looks like you've got a better lock on the signal at least. Let's see to that arm while you work it out.
And boss, just point me in the direction. I'll go find it.
Okay. So Noah, I will accept the. And that's to help Murphy back to
first
full
aid.
health. Okay, 2 successes.
Murphy.
Yeah.
I'm no good at healing
Sorry.
Murphy.
Sorry, Noah. Sorry, my bad. So yeah, Noah, you heal 6 HP. So back to full health.
I overhealed.
Yeah, you overhealed. Sorry, you roll back around.
I'm at 4 health? No.
No. So I will take that in substitution for the survival check. And yeah, you managed to get a pretty good. You've managed to pin it down to like one particular hill. The area around the hill is quite rocky, quite rugged. And you're probably going to need somebody to trace a smooth path through. Plus the athletics check. So.
All right. Kirk, if you want to do it, you can, but I'll do it if you're not interested.
Mr. Ways, I understand that there are some Brotherhood of Steel bunkers that could be in and around hills and valleys and things. Are you interested in taking a look over any points at yonder hill there?
Let me just simplify you for this. Wait, I don't know how to talk today. Let me just simplify this for you. I'm in a power suit. If there are things that need to be moved, I can move it. I don't think anybody else can really do the same thing. Anyways, yeah, I'm just going to go over there.
Splendid. We'll be right behind you. As
Yeah, so basically...
gives him like a 5-second head start and then starts going.
Happy
So
trails.
basically, I imagine Errant Ways is physically moving some of the debris out of the way so people can make their way to the vault door. By the time you swing around this hill, yeah, you can see there's a big door sort of embedded into the side of the hill. It's got a similar look. I don't know if any of your characters would have seen a Vault-Tec vault, but it's the same thing. I'm sure they just call it vaults here anyway, since Canada was annexed by the US. They probably just call them vaults, but as Protectron mentioned, this is some other company that was doing something similar.
Hmm.
Alt wreck.
I would
Yeah.
have seen a Vault-Tec
Okay.
vault.
So, yeah,
I think.
sure. Yeah, absolutely. Right? I'm just saying not everyone had.
Given
So-
the debris around here and the presence of a vault, is this area irradiated at all?
It's mildly irradiated, but nobody's going to come to harm if you move quickly enough inside.
Or if you're in a giant suit of armor.
So,
Also that.
as long as nobody plans on sunbathing here, shouldn't be too much of an issue.
A bit of a pleasant glow in the area. Probably keep moving.
One success from the athletics. Errant Ways is successful in plowing enough of a path that those more fragile amongst us can make their way to the door.
Doctor, if you'd like to hang back and soak up some rays while I go and figure the door out, that is okay with me.
It's a tempting offer.
And thank you, Mr. Ways. Much appreciated. You made this a lot easier for us.
As always, just get those credits ready when I need them.
Okay, so now that your Pip-Boy has already been more attuned to this particular manufacturer, I will need either another science or a repair roll from you, Noah, please.
Both of those
Plan all
are the same one. So
Can
it
I
doesn't
also
matter.
assist with this?
Yes, you may. Let him roll first, though.
Yep.
I'll try repair this time since I did science on the last one.
You could sub in luck.
Luck be a lady. Nope.
Oh no.
Ooh.
Your Pip-Boy is spazzed out. Someone's gonna have to tinker with it if you're gonna be able to use it again.
Damned thing is frozen now.
So, okay.
Should have asked the
Aaron,
broker for a new Pip-Boy.
He already mentioned he can't even get one for himself. I don't know how he won't get one for you.
Reboot. Hold down all the buttons. Yeah. Okay, Aaron Ways. You managed to get his Pip-Boy back in order. You don't know Pip-Boy tech specifically, but you've been around machines your whole life.
Can I roll? Can I also roll science?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Okay.
Keeping
all
it
right.
consistent, it seems.
All right. Yeah, keeping it consistent. Okay. So with the team effort, eventually you are able to get the correct signal to give the door the all clear open up signal.
Would have been a lot easier to just say open sesame.
Well, the boss has his way of doing things, so.
There's a noise of metal bars moving. There's a warning klaxon that goes on. It's distant, obviously coming from inside, and as you know, these sorts of things are very, very, very well insulated. The door sort of creaks open. Some dust and steam blow around, and the door rolls itself into a crevice on the right-hand side. And you can see inside for the first time. Right in front of you is a shallow sort of rectangular area with a couple of consoles, obviously for opening the vault from the other way. And then a long metallic hallway stretches out before you. For those of you, for example, Noah, who might have lived in a vault at some point in their life, there are things that are familiar about the decor and the look of the metal and the look of the consoles. There's something familiar, but something different as well. But not so different. It's like Honda versus Kia. You know what I mean? Like a car is a car, but there's differences in the makes and all.
What state is it in?
Yeah.
It's a province, actually.
That's good. I like that. Thomas, you can take a level.
Thank you.
Okay. Physically, it looks fine from the little entrance queue and the one hallway you can see, but the lighting is very, very dim. Even down the hallway, even those of you who can see in dim light, can tell that the lights are either just not here, or at best they're in some kind of they're in some kind of power saving mode or something like that, low power mode. The entrance here has those like very dim red lights you'd have on in like stairwells and that kind of thing. So now maybe that's always the way it's lit, but doesn't seem likely.
It is very, very strange to be home again. That's different.
Well, last I checked, boss, this ain't your home. So what I suggest is I take point. You follow closely behind.
Noah kind of just shakes his head a little bit. He's clearly a little rattled. I agreed. Gentlemen, have your weapons ready. We're not sure what we're going to encounter in here. And he draws his
Chief.
10mm pistol.
Okay, so as you guys enter, all I need to know is your general marching order.
Me.
Yep.
I'll go behind him.
Okay. So Noah's somewhere in the middle then, and then Murphy and Diaz are bringing up the rear?
That's right.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so similar, basically the same formation you had when you guys were in the sewers there.
Yeah, I think that would kind of be the go-to formation.
Yeah.
It makes the
Gotcha.
most sense.
Big beefy boy up front.
Yeah, makes sense, yeah. You put the wall in front, yeah. All right.
Yeah, Jeff brings his weapon into his hand in the right hand, but still keeps his cane in his left and sort of taps the entrance almost superstitiously as they go through. Swore I'd never go in one of these things. Like being buried alive.
As the last person crosses the threshold, the warning klaxon gives way again, and the door starts to roll closed.
Gentlemen, this is standard procedure. No need to worry about anything, Noah says, clearly worrying a little bit.
And it locks in place. So immediately in the area you've entered, like I said, it's sort of a rectangular area. There's a little console off to the right-hand side that is clearly the interface for opening the door from within. As far as you can tell, it's drawing power. You can see a little sort of dim glow on it. And it matches sort of the dim glow you're seeing in this little entrance vestibule as well as the hallway before you. The hallway continues for quite some time, and then you can see that it opens up into some kind of commons area. So I say commons area because you can tell there's like tables and chairs and such like that, although many of them have been strewn around the room.
Can I check the terminal for documents or any potential information that would have been released over like the broadband of the entire vault?
This terminal is very, very simple. It's basically just an elevator door kind of thing.
Oh, okay. It's a button.
Yeah.
So if I'm not mistaken, there's supposed to be people coming because, well, that was a pretty loud alarm, wasn't it? So
You would
Assuming there's
expect...
anybody in here.
Yes, agreed, Doctor.
I think
Perhaps we should abscond.
I don't know that alarm is maybe just kind of like there so that, if anyone's like maintenance on the door and someone opens it, they can, move before they get crushed. But someone definitely heard that if there's anyone in here. So fair point.
I do believe that was the smashing alarm, but it is possible that there is at least something down here. Whether that's rad roaches or feral ghouls or other inhabitants that are 200 years old somehow and have maintained a life down here. We will find out.
I sure hope there's nothing terrible down here.
Can't see why there would be, right? Well, Chief, I think you're probably the most acquainted with the layout of these kind of places.
yeah, where are we going? I think we need to go to, I don't even know what it is that we're looking for, some sort of technology. So either like a storage area or perhaps...
We'll know it when we see it.
We will know it when we see it, and I do not yet have a map for this. There is a general kind of layout that vaults do have, and if we continue down this way, we should possibly oversee well, there's a courtyard and mine.
Is there some
I
sort
can't
of,
hold
like-
all of them to the same
Is there some
story.
sort of like head office or something
Oh.
that we can maybe get?
Yes,
schematic?
absolutely. The overseer's office should be something that we go to see first. Maybe there would be additional information to find out what exactly we could be looking for, or perhaps even what might find us deeper down if... Oh, okay. Let us move on to at least the overseer's office.
All right, navigator, lead the way. Well, I guess I'm leading the way, but
Yes.
Lay on, Macduff. Let's get going.
Keep moving forward until there's an intersection, and I will guesstimate.
The five of you walk for about 10-15 minutes and get to the end of this long hallway, which, like I said, opens up into the commons area. This was obviously the equivalent of like a lounge / like people sitting around doing whatever. There's lines of what were probably TV monitors, about 5 or 6 feet off of the ground, mounted onto the walls. All of them have either been torn from the walls and now lay on the ground, or they've been sort of smashed or damaged where they are. They off to one side. You can see a couple of doors clearly indicating his and hers bathrooms. Off to the right-hand side, there is like a dining, eating area, which reeks, as for those of you with noses and all of that. And at the back left corner of the commons area, which, like I said, is quite large, obviously, for those of you again in the know with these kinds of things, many vaults you need to house, a couple of hundred people. However many it might have been. So, there's, it's could comfortably, you could probably comfortably get 60 or 70 people in this large area at one time or another. So,
we're not going to encounter an alien, are we? Because I'm getting like some very strong alien game vibes right now.
And at the back left corner, there's a couple of computer terminals. These ones have display screens and keyboards and such.
Is there any damage to the room?
Oh, yeah. Like I said, smashed TV monitors. The tables and chairs have been thrown as strewn.
No signs of gun or blaster fire or claws or
punches
definitely. Or punctures. Oh, just everything everywhere.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad you asked. Yeah. Most of the furniture has been damaged in some way. Lots of them have bullet holes through them. There's scratches and claw marks along some of the floors and the walls. So many of the chairs have been broken apart.
No floor panels dissolved with acid, though.
No, nothing like that.
But if there were, you wouldn't see them. They're dissolved.
How many other doorways are there?
How many doorways are there? So to your left-hand side, there's there's 2 doors for bathrooms.
Right.
There's a hallway that leads off to the right into like a dining room.
Okay.
And then the commons area eventually terminates into another long hallway.
Oh, gotcha. 3 directions. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, there's some computer terminals in the commons area at the back along one of the walls. So. And everything is, like I said, quite dimly lit. So everything's like a sort of a low power.
Looks like whatever happened here, we missed it.
Mr. Moore, you must clean this place up.
Murphy, this is not my vault, but I do appreciate the sentiment. Is my Pip-Boy working? Is that what that role was?
Working.
Okay, that was what that other role was for. I wanted to make sure we weren't screwed. I hit a button on my
Pip-Boy's working.
I hit a button on my Pip-Boy to turn the flashlight on, and I carry it across the walls and just around the perimeter of the room, just to really see kind of what we're also working with. Are we in the room with anything else that could be alive?
I also have my infrared vision, so...
Right. There doesn't seem to be anything alive or dead, actually, in this common area. There's just signs of scuffle. Well, I should say there's nothing dead. There's, like some like rolled up dead bugs in the corner and that kind of thing. Fallout bugs, of course, so they're like a foot long or whatever.
Oh, great.
But they're clearly dead because they're in that dead bug pose where they're on their back and they're curled in. Or
the
whatever.
Legs are up.
So,
okay. Very curious. There's nothing. I mean, there's clearly signs of a fight, but there's no bodies.
What I suggest, boss, you got a couple terminals over there. Why don't you and DS go over there, and then the rest of us can kind of.
Oh,
Take
go
a quick
check out
look
the
around.
dining room and see if there's anything better than the fucking mole rat stew we've been eating for the 6 days.
That's possible. John, could you check the bathroom first?
I don't have to go right now, boss.
You're going to have to go, because if we don't clear them, it could be a problem.
It was a joke. I'm gonna check the bathrooms.
Please do. There should only be, well, ideally, there should only be one way in and out, and you're looking at them. If there's additional exits somewhere, that would be nice to know. Clear those while I check these terminals. And, Doctor, please, if you join me.
I suppose.
What
Look
would you
like
have
old
me do, sir?
VT100s.
Murphy, could you tidy this place up a little?
Absolutely, sir.
See if you can find anything else.
And I
Your eyes
was
open for something useful.
hoping to take a closer look at kind of this battle damage, like if I can recognize the claw marks and stuff.
Okay. All right. So, I want a survival roll for Murphy. John, you don't need to roll anything. Aaron, I want you to roll one of your weapon skills.
Yep.
Like, whatever. And then Noah or DS can roll science. Or both. Or one of you can roll science, the other one can assist after the fact.
I'm thinking melee because looking at the claw marks and stuff.
Yeah,
It's been
sure.
funny every time I roll badly, so I will try it again.
Okay.
I love the visual of Noah getting upset and frustrated at not being able to access the technology adjacent to that in which he grew up with.
Yes.
So
It's like
he
a PC
is
user using a Mac.
he's tapping the keys. He's like, there's no mice or anything, but he's just like, he hits the screen a little bit. Like he's gonna get a little frustrated and violent with the machine.
And as he is, you just hear John has his shotgun out, kicking open stall doors.
Yep. That's
If
right.
there's anyone in here, you tell me it's occupied right
Why
now.
did John get a shotgun?
I've had a shotgun the whole time.
My word.
Remember, I threatened the mayor with it.
That's right. You did. Okay.
You're right.
If you're gone poop, I'm about to help you go faster.
All right.
Doctor, I will not shit myself because I'm having computer issues. Thank you.
Well, that makes both of us. Doesn't seem to be responding to the usual commands. Must have done something to the OS. It's non-standard.
All right. So let's handle these in order. Murphy, you aren't particularly successful in finding anything of note, and your efforts at cleaning are superficial. Just the place is just too banged up.
So it goes, sir.
But there's something about this room that just clicks with a memory in your mind. Like there's something that kind of distracts you. Like something I don't know what it is. It's a visual, it's a sight, it's a piece of technology, but something makes you think of brighter days. So you're a tad distracted. The next time, Murphy, you go to roll, your complication range will be 19 and 20. Until you sort of shake yourself out of this thoughtful funk. That's your complication. That was the 20. Noah and DF, you guys are unsuccessful in finding much on the computer, but you do find a little bit. I'll come back to you in a moment. Aaron, you recognize the battle marks and marks, damage marks on the tables and the walls and so on and so forth. None of them are weapons. They're all animalistic in nature.
Mm-hmm.
They're claws. They're like pincers, they're all natural claws, as it were.
Do I recognize it any closer than that? Like, I've been in a shit ton of battles.
Some of them look very insectoid in nature.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them do. You do see some marks that would be reminiscent of other creatures like mole rats, yaoguai. Those are giant bears, by the way, for those not to know. Actually, so it's like honestly, it's like a little bit like Noah's Ark. Like you really feel like if you kept looking at every table, you would find you'd find an animal mark of every kind, or two of every kind even. But the ones that are most prominent clearly belong to like insects. Like you can clearly make out what looks like ant pincers.
Mm.
And you can make out very clearly the like scratch marks left by the giant mole rat family. Those are the most prominent.
So no deep scarring claw slashes 2 feet thick into metal that are like huge, gigantic fist size, right?
No.
Okay.
Only the yaoguai.
So. Wow, just like the time my comics in the future fought giant ants.
I want to clarify, Nathaniel. You said you saw yaoguai claws in this scuffle?
Yeah, Aaron spied something that probably might have belonged to a yaoguai, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So whatever he chooses to report is up to him, but yes. Okay, so back to Noah and DF. You weren't able to pull up anything like a map, which is maybe what you were hoping for, but you are able to find a couple of logs. This was obviously like the equivalent of like a commons computer that people could log on with like a basic password or whatever. So there's a couple messages. I'll post them if so. I'll be one of the two of you. I'll be so gracious to read them.
I haven't had much success. Looks like this was mostly used for entertainment purposes. I got checkers, minesweeper, and looks like some personal messages.
Interesting. Mine has something called Number Muncher on it, but I'm not sure what that was. And also, it seems like there might be a message on mine too. Would you like to do the honors on yours first, or should I?
Let's see. Hey, Greg. Is there really nothing we can do about the things? I mean, I realize science can be weird at times, but it's kind of upsetting the kids when they walk down the halls.
What could that mean?
And here's one on your terminal, Noah.
Okay. Mine says, "Hi Tasha, we'd love to have at our bridge. We'd love to have you at our bridge game tonight. Doc Lemos has assured me that they are stuck. Oh gosh, Doc Lemos has assured me that though they are stuck like that forever, they are definitely dead. Just keep looking down at the cards, okay? See you tonight. We're going to beat those boys. Stuck like that forever."
Indefinitely dead, eh? Well.
Sounds, well, nothing like a ghoul or anything I've ever seen. I wonder if this has anything to do with what Murphy laid eyes on.
I guess we need to continue investigating, see if we can't get access to a computer with some real information on it.
Hey boss, I got something here you might want to take a look at.
What did you find?
A lot of battle marks, a lot of claw marks. Mostly natural, but it seems the larger irradiated type of creatures, possibly giant ants or even a yaoguai.
Sorry. Did you fucking say a yaoguai?
You honestly want me to repeat myself?
They had a grizzly bear in here?
Based on what I can view, possibly, yeah.
Well, that would
Science-
explain why there aren't too many other people around. Although
It's
I would
upsetting
expect more
the-
intestines.
Upsetting the kids when we walk down the hall. Are they dead? Are they stuck like that? Okay, gentlemen.
Oh, wait.
I'm
hold
saying
on,
this-
before... Oh, yeah, you just shouting out into the air? Okay.
I'm saying
So
this
I
for the
forgot to
benefit
describe
of
what John found, but... we'll
John.
get there. Yeah.
Since John needs to hear me, I'm just calling this out here.
Yeah.
John, a Yaogwai is like a grizzly bear, so be mindful for bears.
Gesundheit.
Nut boy. Good sense of humor.
He's growing
right.
on me. I'll hate to see him go.
I'm tight.
One way or the other, eh?
John, most of the stalls that you have entered, or have kicked open or whatever, are empty. The bathroom's in not in great shape. There's a little tiny bit of water at the bottom, like someone left the taps on and like didn't turn them off. So there's a bit of a sloshing as you walk around. At least you hope it's sink water and not the alternative. So, there are a couple of stalls that have less than idyllic scenes to them, though. One of them is a guy with a bullet hole in the side of his head. You find a pistol at his feet. He obviously blew his brains out. You know this because you see the brains on the wall. The next stall over has what looks like a gerbil or a hamster, like floating in the toilet bowl. But the arms and the legs are raw. They look like rat paws as opposed to gerbil paws. If you know your rodent anatomy well. And the third stall has a human head. Thankfully, a dead. Well, maybe not thankfully, a dead human head poking out of the toilet. And maybe it strikes you as both comical and awful. And at first you think like it's a decapitated head, like in the toilet. But you realize if you dare to get close enough that you can see that there's like a neck and like the top part of a torso in the toilet as well. And he looks like he was forcibly shoved in or ended up in it somehow.
Huh. Hey. Okay, well, yeah, John leaves the bathrooms.
Did you find
Okay.
anything, John?
I don't know if those are like bathrooms or like private suicide booths, because I found a bunch of bodies, but like
Oh, so you
Nothing-
you actually did find death. That's a good sign.
No, DS over there, right beside you, actually.
yeah, one of them was self-inflicted. One of them was like a weird. I mean, I guess it was a gerbil, but it looked like they were doing something with its arms. I don't know if they were like giving it steroids, but
What is a
The most-
gerbil?
like a little, kind of like a rat, but not. And like a fancy rat.
Like a fancy
A
rat.
fancy rat. Interesting.
Almost like
Yeah,
a
Like a
mole
mole
rat.
Yeth
rat?
goes over towards the bathrooms and takes a quick look around inside.
Oh, and the
He's
third
trying
one.
to work out decomposition and how long these people have been here.
The third one
bodies.
was the weirdest one of them all. It was like I guess a head, but also it looks like someone gave him a reverse swirly, like really hard. Like I don't know how, but I think they got part of his body down in the pipes.
What is I'm sorry, you're going to have to describe.
They shoved him in the toilet like so hard that he might like part of him is in the pipes. I don't know how they did it.
It really?
I mean, door's right over there if you want to see what I'm talking about.
Sure. Were there any weapons?
There was a pistol in the one that was obviously self-inflicted, but it's
I will
been
be
in the
taking
water
that.
for It's been in the water for a while. I don't imagine it works so good.
I would be taking that. And
Okay.
he also goes to take a look. And
That's
you
random.
hear as the door closes, and you hear from behind the door, Jesus Christ! Muffled.
Right.
No,
comes
it's just
out-
me.
Oh, John, I can confirm there was a man whose body is shoved into a toilet. Very good job.
Yeah. Actually, back in my world, I saw something that was kind of like this. We were in this weird lab, and like things were like phasing in and out of the walls.
This man hasn't been
floor?
shoved in here.
Honestly, I probably would have reacted like you if I hadn't kind of already seen it.
Mm.
Very
DF
interesting.
pushes open the door with his cane.
Mm-hmm.
There's not enough trauma here. Not enough, pieces. You can't put something this big through an opening that small.
That was kind of what weirded me out about it.
Tell us a little bit more about this weird thing you saw in this laboratory, John.
So, all the science behind it, I don't understand. But it was like, so that, you know how I came from a different world? There are places, I guess, where the worlds overlap, or there are ways to make them overlap where, like, like it, if done incorrectly, I guess it could make things like partially phased in and out of objects. I don't know if that's like, maybe we should get Waze. He's kind of strong. Maybe we should see if he could like pull and see if like he can even be separated from the whole situation.
Well, in terms of what we're currently seeing, in order to pull would mean to pull his head off, I guess. Very interesting.
Curious. Some sort of matter transposition.
But even that, actually, since you were in there taking a look around anyways, doctor, being that I guess you're like a medical doctor, I don't know what you know about like science or anything, but didn't that gerbil seem kind of weird? What do you think the deal with that is?
Oh, I
Can
do
you make
see the gerbil now.
Can you make a diagnostic prognosis or whatever you doctors do?
Diath gives you, a grimace that's the best he can get towards a smile. It's a little outside of my bailiwick. I'm a human doctor, not a fancy rat doctor. But I would say that I've never seen anything like this, and not even in the wastes. I don't think that this is... maybe I'm jumping to conclusions. But you've got me thinking along a certain line, Let's gather more information. We need to know what they were doing in this vault.
I assume this is going to be what the broker is looking for as well, so be on your toes.
As far as decomposition and stuff like that, the dude and the gerbil are way past good. They are
Past their
definitely
expiry date.
rotting, horrible, decomposing awfulness.
The only reason why they're not even worse off is because most of the bacteria died in the fire too.
That's true. However, interesting enough, the guy who has made his home in the toilet permanently actually doesn't look as bad as everything as the others. If anything, he doesn't look like he's decomposing at all. It looks like he's grimy.
What?
Surprisingly well preserved given the state of the other corpses.
I don't suppose DSU.
Diath reaches out with his cane
Mm.
and gives him a tap with the end of the cane.
It dings like porcelain.
Is that a synth?
No, I don't think so. What synths I've encountered. And Diath rings his cane against a metal surface. Sound like that. Now this, and Diath rings his cane against the porcelain of the toilet. Sounds like the material that he's partially through.
He's become ceramic. or porcelain, whatever this is made of.
Too early to draw that conclusion, but it seems like a working hypothesis.
How on earth does that happen?
So I
figure
mean,
it's impossible. But maybe the answer is a little further down in the vault.
you know what I was saying about like the matter transposition. You know, maybe like he was doing his business and then
Shit,
he
son.
fell through, and then when he recorporated inside, he became part of the porcelain. I don't. It sounds. You know what? Now that I've said it, it sounds dumb. Let's just go figure out what this vault's about.
John, this is the best possible explanation from the best possible person who has literally seen some of this as it goes. The more that you hyperbolate, the better chances are that we find the answer in the end. So continue, please, as we go on. If we find another one like this in a different state, well, that proves it then. This is quite a find.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I even think that is because, like, you'd think we would have found other porcelain people around, but the only porcelain person is the one who was on the porcelain to begin with. So, like, I don't know. That just seems telling in a way. But
Well, either way, it's a crappy way to go.
heh.
Let's move on, shall we?
As you reunite in the commons area, including Murphy, Murphy, have you scoped out the dining hall at all, or have you stayed within this commons area here?
I was only told to stick to this one area.
Okay. So as the five of you have now reconvened then in the commons area. So, like I said, the dining hall is off to the right-hand side, and then there's a hallway that continues sort of straight north.
Where'd you next, Chief?
Gentlemen, do you still have your appetite after witnessing such a horrendous sight?
What'd you see in there?
A man possibly fused entirely inside and with a commode.
Huh.
I think it's what they call modern art.
Anyways,
But
where to?
since I am no longer hungry, I think checking out the disgusting smelling kitchen may be our next best bet. Just be careful not to step on any people who are fused with the floor either.
More
Right.
likely the jelly mold.
Oof. Speaking of which, as you enter the dining hall, the fun never stops when it comes to phasing through things, apparently.
Great.
There are at least 4 people, 3 men and a woman, who are in various states of partially going through the metal wall that is around the dining hall. One is just an arm. There's just an arm like reaching out, like it's trying to grab at something. Another one is like the upper torso, and it's like slagging over, like it was in the midst of doing a stretch. There's another one who's like directly halfway, like a two-face kind of thing, where like right down the middle of his face, down his torso, is missing, and the other half is sticking out of the wall, sort of sideways. And the last one just has the leg through, or whatever. All of them are dead, probably mercifully. However, again, it probably doesn't even take a medical degree to note that the more fused in the wall they are, the less decomposed they have. For example, the arm is almost in perfect condition, though there's a bit of a shiny gleam to it, like it's no longer skin. Whereas the guy who just has the leg in the wall is basically almost a skeleton with just some chunks of meat hanging on.
What does the leg like when it gets closer to the wall, though?
Like the part that's sticking out?
Yeah.
Again, it shimmers. It doesn't look quite like
No,
bone.
the
Okay,
one
so
that's
then
like
further away, the more decomposed.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay.
The more just like a rotting corpse it looks.
no
Sorry,
the
Thomas.
ones. No, that's all good. The ones that have faces outside of the wall.
Yeah.
Is it possible to tell? I don't know how decomposed those faces are, but would it be possible to tell what kind of expressions they have? Maybe like they're scared or running away.
Anyone who has a face showing is frozen in a state of absolute horror.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Can you give us a depiction of what absolute horror would look like with your nice, beautiful camera on right now?
Use your imagination.
Yep, just like that.
That's like that.
Nice.
There you go.
Nice.
This is what it looks like.
So,
Yeah, like that, Christian.
Yeah, like that. So some
You don't
guys
smile when you're scared?
When I
one
miss
of
it,
them
do it
is
again.
really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Just having a good
So there we
time.
go. Oh gee, oh golly. There
Goodness,
are
this is going to put a crimp in my social calendar. No mistake.
there are a few cans lying about, most empty, some still full. So if anyone feels like grabbing a few cans of whatever and having a snack.
Murphy, could you
things
hold
I
on
could-
to these?
Things I could throw at people.
So,
I do not drink nor eat, sir.
You can hold them for me inside of your refrigerator compartment. Actually, speaking of that, do you have anything in there right now?
Not a thing, sir.
Damn.
Hey, boss, I'd like to try something.
By all means, take one of the cans.
No, I'm talking about with the states that the people are in.
mhm.
Are you going to snap them in half?
Well, I could do one of a few things. You see that arm just hanging over there?
I wasn't going to judge you if you were. I simply want to see it at this point. Go ahead.
Well, I was thinking the arm and then the person that just has a leg and kind of see what happens.
Please, by all means, rip
I don't
that
suppose
guy
you can
out.
do them any more harm.
Okay, so I start with the guy that is completely out except for a leg.
Yeah.
And try to pull him apart. Now I've kind of gotten accustomed to like lifting and gripping different types of material and objects in my power suit, so like I can kind of
Through the
tell
gloves, as it were.
sort of like that, like whether it's more fleshy and it's easy to crush or if it's more metallic and it takes more effort, you know? So
Right.
that's kind of what I'm wanting to see is when I rip this person apart,
Yeah.
what happens and what's the state of their leg, and then when I go to the arm and try to do something to that, will it bend, will it break, will it like move around, does it feel more like metal with the resistance and stuff? That's kind of what I'm wanting
Absolutely.
to do.
Absolutely. Can I have you roll like an armor, like a material check?
Unarmed?
Haha. Can I have you roll science?
Science.
Okay. Yeah. So it's really obvious. The guy who's completely out except for his leg, it's definitely just bone. It's plain old bone and flesh. The leg is like solid metal, like the same sturdy metal that's making up the walls of the vault.
Where was the break
Yeah, where's the
point?
cutoff?
Like the mid thigh.
Okay, so like the part that was fused into the wall, like it didn't come out with it, like we didn't get the internal part of the bone coming out and it like
No.
is longer. Okay, it like snapped off right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the arm is like solid metal. So much so actually, because you got 2 successes, that you're worried that even like trying to manipulate it might actually do something to the superstructure. Like, it's pretty obvious now that this arm is now part of the wall, and it would be like trying to punch through the wall.
But it looks just like a human fleshy arm.
It looks like an arm, but it doesn't feel like one.
Okay.
It feels more like your arm, in fact.
So, sort of, except his arm will be plated. This is like smooth, hard metal.
It's like somehow you took a perfect statue
grabbing onto
made
a
of
pipe.
the vault metals material.
Yeah.
And then, like, painted wise, like, it looks painted like an arm and everything, right?
Yes.
Like, it still has the human skin tone, sheen, and everything.
Photorealistic,
skin
just a
tone, but-
different material. Interesting.
It has the skin tone, but it has the gleam of metal. You know how
Right,
the way
yep.
metal sort of shines in light.
Yep.
Yeah.
Metallic
So-
properties.
Yeah.
They just embalmed me in transparent aluminum, and that's what it is.
Neat.
Okay. I put the cans
Curious.
of food in Murphy.
Okay.
Looks like whatever happened. Dia says, taking a look at the limb that was managed to be severed.
Mm.
It's worked its way entirely through the material.
Mm.
The transposition of materials is right to the middle.
Does it
All
look
in
like
all.
it was instantaneous, though, or did it take time?
Impossible to say without seeing the process done. There's
Ideally, we won't get to.
no obvious arterial bleeding. I don't see any evidence of trauma to the surrounding tissues. Chances are that it was pretty quick.
You know, I don't love that a guy who knows way too much about everything wants this technology.
I was kind of thinking the exact same thing.
Now, I will say, we don't know if this technology is actually here, or if this was something outside that came and did this. Yet.
Then let's move on and find out.
Yeah.
It's also fair to say that this wasn't the intended effect. Unless, like you say, someone came in one day and made these people's lives very miserable. But the messages we found suggest that if you read them a certain way, they knew what was happening.
It
And
was
then-
self-inflicted.
But then how do you connect what we're seeing here to what we saw in the previous room with the large battle?
I don't think we have enough information. We don't have all the puzzle pieces yet.
Continue moving. There was that other long hallway.
Yeah, they really liked long hallways in vaults, didn't they, boss?
This is longer than normal. This is not what I'm used to.
I mean, structurally, when you're underground, you can only have so many big, wide open spaces before the dirt above you kind of crushes them. So, like, structurally, it's just kind of easier to do. Yeah, I took classes other than heroing, so, like, I know.
You took classes in heroing?
I mean, yeah, I went to. Yeah, you know, I guess I never mentioned you guys. I did go to a school for superheroes.
Walk and
neat.
talk with me, John. You're worried about doing the right thing in this place, and you went to school to be Grognak the Barbarian.
Right, but you see, look, first of all, I don't know who Grognak the Barbarian is, but we got a
hold
guy
on, give me
called...
1 second. I have a copy in my bag, actually.
Look, in
And he
my world,
fishes
we
out a
got-
copy.
We got a guy called Conan. Now, if this dude is anything like Conan the Barbarian, he did not take classes in heroism, I'll tell you that.
I absolutely think he did not.
But, yeah,
Grognok's okay. He's got a
But,
heart
like-
of gold underneath all of that muscle.
I say,
He's a
like,
great man.
superhero classes, but, like, they weren't... I guess some of them were, like, morals classes, but those were really, like, electives. You just needed, like, a philosophy elective to get your, you know, degree. But, like, they were mostly classes for, like, oh, what to do if a villain takes a guy hostage. Like, they weren't teaching me how to be a good person, mostly.
Tactics, strategy. It's the same in medicine. You spend a lot of time thinking about how you can sever a ligament, not a whole lot thinking about whether you should.
Is that also where you got your powers, John?
No. The way it works, I won't say, like, everybody has them, but, like, they're pretty common where I come from, like 50-50-ish. But, like, so, like, people with the powers, they go, some of them want to be heroes because some of the people with the powers want to be not so heroic. villainous, if you would. Seems a little black and white when you put it like that.
It kind of does.
There are extenuating circumstances, but like for certain people with certain powers, being a hero is like a career option, I guess.
They give the good ones education while they go and fight the bad ones? That seems like a terrible thing, John.
Well, no, they don't give it to us. You have to pay for the education. Like, legitimately, I have to pay so much for my education that the only way I can make the money is to go gamble in underground fight clubs and beat the shit out of people and win fight money.
Oh, so the default for gaining powers is to use them for personal gain. Now I understand why you have so many villains.
I am seeing
Yeah, actually, that is kind of the default. Yeah. Which is why it's a good thing that they're training people who can pay for it. I know. It's not a perfect system, but that's why it's a good thing that some of them are being trained to stop the villains.
Kind of sounds like these powers messed up your own place, didn't it?
Yeah, things got bad for a while.
Mr. Waze, if you could have any superpower, which one would it be?
This must be pretty novel to you, but that game is so old where I'm from.
Really?
But yeah, no ways. I am interested. What is it?
I'm genuinely curious as well.
I don't even know what powers there are.
Just make one up. What would you like?
Yeah, pretty much just make one up. My power is to hit anything I throw at. So
you could be a big man made of hard material that can.
We got
hurt
one
people.
of those. His name was.
Invulnerability.
We got one of those. His name was Rick.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, I kind of have my
Good
suit.
dude.
If it had more ability, sure, I'd probably just have a better suit.
Yeah, actually, funny you mentioned that. In some ways, Aaron, you actually remind me a lot of Rick.
One thing I do wish the suit would have is more mobility. So, like the suit can go fast enough that I could possibly, fly or something.
Flight is possible with your suit. We can get a jetpack, although they're prohibitively expensive.
Wow, this is a really long hallway.
Being fast is nice. And we could have reached into this hallway already.
You come halfway through you come to near the end of the hallway. There's a branch off to either side, and you can see inside. Again, the lighting is dim. I'll stop mentioning that. Just assume that's the default, let's just say otherwise. And there's large dormitories on either side. Bunk beds line the rooms in either way. Just based on the sort of generic coloration of the wall, you get a sense it was sort of like a his dorms and a her dorms kind of thing. And most of the bunk beds have been overturned, like pillows and sheets have been torn apart and things are strewn all over the place. But you can see some of them are still up against the wall or whatever. Nobody in them at the moment. Place is empty other than some odds and ends and some little bits of scrap and that kind of thing.
Can I scrounge for materials or ammo?
Yeah, sure. You can roll luck and find something immediately useful, or you can roll survival and take your chance.
I will roll luck instead. How do I do a straight
You don't need to roll luck. Just spend a luck point, and I'll tell you what you find.
Oh, then sure.
All right. Great. You find 5 ammo for the weapon of your choice.
I find 5. Can I find 5 ammo for Dr. Dieth's gun?
Yes.
I will do that instead.
5 mini nukes? That'd be great.
All right.
Doctor, it's not much, but I do think I've found some extra ammunition for your weapon.
I won't turn it down. Thank you kindly.
Hopefully we won't have to use them.
One can always hope.
There's a couple more personal terminals here. Someone other than Dieth or Noah, if you would like to roll science.
Yeah, I can do that.
All right.
I guess this would take place while I'm scrounging for bullets, so I get my action there.
I have to be extra careful pushing buttons because I have extra big fingers.
That's right, yeah.
As you hear him
3 times.
As you hear him slowly clicking and clacking in each key, John turns to Murph. What about you, Murph? What superpower would you want?
Flight.
Of course.
I got good news for you.
Okay,
What is that?
John waves his hand underneath Murph a few times.
Fantastic.
You've already achieved your goal, Murphy.
Congratulations. We're all proud of you.
Thank you, sirs.
All right. You got one success. Okay. Okay, Aaron Tways, you do find a general map of the facility, which I will describe in a moment. You also find a couple more logs. This one is written by Dr. Lamas, who was mentioned in a previous. This one is written by him. So.
All right, just gonna read this out loud. This is by Dr. Lamas. It seems phase 1 has begun. We figure we'll start small. There's a real future in micro teleportation. Just imagine the possibilities.
Yeah, just imagine.
That is exactly like the kind of thing I saw in that lab.
That is exactly the kind of thing that we saw happen to a gerbil, apparently, as well. It is micro.
This is a second entry written by someone else. Again, these obviously were public terminals used by whoever was leaving the dorm. This is written by some guy named Mark.
And we got a thing from Mark. Very unoriginal name. Jerry died last night. Spent the last moments of his life screaming. Doc tells me most of his physical self fused directly with the metal material of the wall. What a shame. He was the only guy who really knew how to make a good milkshake.
You're kidding me, they got Jerry too.
We all know you don't give a shit about Jerry, boss.
What is with the sociopaths that lived here? This person legitimately saw a man fused into a wall and heard that they were like screaming in the last moments of their life, and he's like, "Oh damn, my milkshakes." Gee.
You're new here, so
You get
gonna let
used
that
to it,
slide.
sir.
What's a milkshake?
There's the really depressing bit. Anything else?
And then, like I said, you are successful in finding a general layout / map of the of the vault.
So I would. Is there a way to either upload it to the Pip-Boy or a way to jot down the important waypoints?
Yes to both. Whatever makes more sense in universe for errant ways to do.
Okay.
If it's on a computer, I could just beam it to my Pip-Boy.
Nathaniel drew a map.
Ooh.
With multiple pages. So
Whoa!
It's not coming through on camera very well, but I will take your
no,
word
it's
for
fine.
it.
It's good because I don't want you to see the map.
But we have a copy of the map.
Yeah.
So,
Why don't you want us to see it?
So there are 4
What's
levels.
on the map?
There are 4 levels of this facility. Level 1 is the level that you're on right now, which is just called the Commons. And basically, you've seen everything it has to offer. There's a giant commons area, a bathroom, a dining hall. They're exactly as I described. There's 2 dormitories on either side. You're obviously in one of them. There's another huge dormitory on the other side. And then it shows that there's like a staircase, like a spiral staircase leading down at the end of the hall.
Got it.
Level 2 is the medical center. Pretty much the entire floor is taken up by the med lab. There's a smaller sectioned off area that's called intensive care. And then in the back left corner, there is labeled medical officer's office. Level 3 is labeled science lab. And it is, as soon as I flip to the right page, it's laid out with a huge, massive, the same size as the commons area, a huge lab. And this is like a schematic, so it doesn't show you what's like in each room, just the names of the rooms. A main lab, you can see there's little like symbols for terminal outlets and that kind of thing. There's another set of dorms on either side, which are labeled scientist dorms. So you assume there must have been a science cast versus just regular people who lived here. And then there's another hall that branches off of that, which leads to a room labeled overseer's office. and then level 4 has no outline.
Well, there's the map, boss. You want to download that? Go right ahead. But
the
looks like
Overseer's office might be the best chance we have to find any additional information, but is there anywhere else you gentlemen would like to stop off first in our excursion?
Doesn't it
There's
kind of
that.
seem like we have to go through everything else to get there anyways?
Like to
Correct.
is a strong phrasing.
And also that 4th floor. Whatever's there must be secretive, so I'm pretty sure that's where our thing's going to be.
I'm not going to speak for anything, but it's entirely possible there's an entrance there in the Overseer's room. In the vault I grew up in, we were not allowed in there unless he called us in specifically. And they would likely have some kind of exits hidden secretly in for emergencies. I wonder if it leads down there. From there.
Sounds worth checking out.
But we need to go down every floor anyway, so...
Yep,
I guess
I'm leading the way.
To the stairs.
It's going to be so far. If only we had some kind of micro-teleportation.
We may by the end of this adventure.
I'd
Why would
prefer
anyone
macro
want...
teleportation.
That's what I was about to say. Great minds.
By the way, I really appreciate all the Zelda jokes as well about the treasure chest. That's really good. I like it.
Like, haha, I teleported you to a Zelda dungeon. It's the water dungeon, guys.
Ah, no! How cruel.
Fallout
That's
3?
too cruel. That's too cruel. Alright. I assume
We're just teleporting
you guys,
people into walls here. We're not trying to torture them.
Assumably you guys proceed to the stairs?
Yes.
Okay. The stairs, like I
Proceeding.
said, like I said, are like a spiral staircase. They're metal. They have those like sort of grates that so you can sort of see down as
That's
you're
great.
going. Again, it's very dimly lit. You kind of have to take your time, or trip, or risk tripping or whatever. But eventually you make your way down. And the stairs are set up in such a way that they obviously go down to level 3. When you reach the next landing, you can see again, there's a hallway, a very long hallway, and then it opens out into what you assume to be the medical facility. You can see it. You can see the dim lighting, and those of you who are particularly perceptive can hear movement somewhere in the med lab, but you don't see anything as of yet. Basically, anyone with like perception 7 or higher would hear that there's like moving and shuffling around somewhere in the med lab.
I don't hear shit.
I don't have that.
Gentlemen, I hear some sounds coming from the lab.
What
Are
sort of
we-
sounds?
You hear sounds?
It would appear to be something alive.
Well, do we go check it out, or we go down to floor 3?
When you say something, how big a something are we talking about here?
That I cannot say, sir.
We don't
Better
know
not to
what
leave
we'll
it at our
find.
backs.
We don't know what we'll also find on this floor as it is. We should clear the whole thing if we're looking for something that we'll know it when we see it.
Alright,
Yeah.
then let me go ahead and I'll try and clear it for the rest of you.
I was going to say, on top of that, it seems like medical supplies are few and far between in the wasteland, so I'm sure the doctor wouldn't mind getting some, fresh goods, as it were, if he could.
Some fresh 200-year-old goods. I say that's a good
Okay.
idea.
Fresh
If you can put your
relatively.
hands to it, I'd appreciate that, and I'm sure you will too.
All right. So then I guess the plan at the moment is Eric Wace is going to proceed a little bit down the hall and see what he can see.
Yes.
So when I cast her there, okay, excellent. All right. So first, I would like you to roll survival for me, please.
Oh, hold on, I got a cat
Waze
on
went
me.
into the hallway to see what he could see.
Jeff,
And all
Jeff,
that he
I
could
need you to get
see.
off me. I need to roll some
All
dice.
that he could see.
Here you go.
Waze went into the hallway to see what he could see.
And our musical interlude today provided
Okay.
by Richmond Thomas Entertainment.
You said survival?
Survival, please.
Boop.
Oh.
You do not survive.
He doesn't see anything.
Sorry, guys, I'm dead. Bye.
Okay. And you see things that I will reveal after our break. It's 9:35. I'll return. We will return at 9:45. See you then.
If you would just roll better, we could have seen it before the break.
Oh no! Oh, that was a commercial break check. Damn it!
Yeah,
There you go. Failed the break check.
Look.
Gentlemen, we're back.
Excellent. All right, so Errant Ways has crept up along the hallway into the opening of the med lab, hoping to find what he can find. 0 successes on his survival roll. So you do hear some movement inside, but it's hard to pinpoint. All the walls are metallic, and so they're you're wearing a metal suit, so everything is kind of echoing and bouncing off of something. You know it's distant from you. You can tell enough that the footsteps aren't right next to you, or right around the corner. They're somewhere else in the med lab, but the place is large and decently dark. And there's lots of winds and turns.
I then switched to my other viewing modes, infrared and night vision, and then realized that I don't need to roll survival because I have those.
Nice. Very good. And you solved my vision puzzle. Once you switch to infrared, you can see that there are heat signatures on one side of the med lab. So if you can imagine, the med lab is like 2 squares. So think of 2 squares and link them at the corners.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there's a big square, and then it links on the diagonal, and there's another big square. So. Okay. You're on this one square here. The sound and the people, the movement, is on the other side of that square. And then in the second square, if you shimmied the right-hand wall, you could probably slip past them and get into the part of the med lab where the offices are. So.
Interesting.
So
well,
they're obviously, from what you can just see of their outlines, it looks like they're rummaging, they're pushing things around. What are they? I'm sure somebody's thinking that. You spot 2 different life forms. There's about half a dozen or so little creatures crawling around. You identify them pretty easily as giant mole rats. Pretty standard for an underground subterranean area. The other ones are humanoid. But they're the raw shape to be regular humans. There's things sticking out in directions that shouldn't be sticking out, and again, it's all outlines because it's an infrared, but they don't seem to end in arms properly. They end in other things, blocky things, or things that are too jagged or straight or whatever.
Okay, well, I'm not the most sneaky of boys, so I go back and relay all of this to everybody.
Okay.
So, good news. I don't know what that would be. Neutral news. There's things in there, and there's a lot of them. I guess the good news is that there's a lot of mole rats, which are easy to take care of. Yeah, that would be good news. Bad news. There's a bunch of humanoid things that have things protruding from them.
Inside of their bodies? Through them?
I couldn't quite get a clear sense since it was just an outline. They are emitting heat. So they are alive to some sort.
Well.
So if we go in there, we're going to have a fight on our hands.
Depending on how loud it is, we may trigger every single other one in the vault here.
Was a way to. There did look like there was a path to kind of sneak around them to the other area, but well, I'm on a power suit, not the most sneaky of people.
Any advantage to sneaking around? Was there something on the other side that seemed like it was worth getting to?
Well, it was the offices, according to the schematics, but
I mean, would it offer anybody else a chance to get through, or would it be whoever gets through would be on their own?
Well, worst case scenario can always cause a distraction to draw them towards me.
I think it might be a better idea just to get rid of them anyway. We don't want to leave them and then go down and then have something at our backs the whole time.
A direct approach.
They should have heard us. So they seem more interested in what's ever in there than us.
They should have heard us by now, you're right.
Could it be people looking for drugs?
It's
Not
worth
with little
taking-
bits poking out of them, I don't imagine, but
Have any of us heard of anything like this before?
John?
GM.
I mean, nothing
And
jumps to mind. Like humanoids with things sticking out of them could be a lot of things. They could just have fancy armor. I don't know.
Did Mrs. Thames sound like anything like that?
No, Miss Thames Murphy was very obviously still a human, but with mental patches.
I don't think
Resembling human shape. That what Aaron saw. Sorry.
No, I think I can kind of answer that for you. The broker, and I mean, he could have been lying, but he said he couldn't get in here. So the chances of those being related seem kind of slim.
Maybe they're
worth a
linked to
shot.
this. Perhaps they're linked to these micro teleportations. Some sort of growth teleportations on them rather than them in the walls.
something teleported into them. Yeah.
Perhaps.
Disgusting.
Well, actually, now that when you put it that way, could that actually perhaps, Doctor, explain the gerbil with the rat arms? If you gerbalize a rat or ratalize a gerb.
Micro teleportation.
I see what you're getting at there.
To force.
If you can recombine something such that it gains the attributes of porcelain or metal,
Oh,
why
Do you
not
think-
recombine it with something else?
maybe that's why the broker wants his technology. Because he seemed really the broker's that Protectron. He wants to real boy himself.
I guess there could be worse uses.
Well, I guess our play is to eliminate them, but be prepared for a fight. We don't want to leave them behind us. So
yeah,
don't
if
want to
we
get
go
surprised.
downwards from here,
All right.
we wouldn't want them following.
Fair
Then
enough.
here's what I recommend. I'll go after the humanoids if you can all take care of the mole rats.
If it's all the same to you, I'll probably help with the humanoids. I think I kind of, won't miss even in the
That's
dark.
fine. 2 and
John
3.
does have a shotgun.
Although
Whether or not it should be
I-
effective on them, it should still.
I
do
said
something.
that. No, I actually said that assuming there's some kind of monsters, but like,
They
what
might
if
be
they're
able to
just
reason
regular?
with us.
What if they're just regular people? I'm not really comfortable with killing regular people.
And that's where
Actually-
the boss comes in. We approach, do a spiel. If they come to attack us, I'd step in.
No preemptive attacks. I like it. Let's give them a chance.
Okay, please make your initiative checks and let the battle be joined, as it were. Okay, great. I need to remove the Brotherhood things. There you
Oh, Brother Hod. No.
go. This is not quite in the right order. Hold on. Nope, not yet. Nope, Murphy's just in the wrong spot.
You just
So-
gotta drag
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
There we go. Okay. Yeah. There. Okay. Wonderful. Brotherhood. All right. So, Noah, you're up first.
So he was looking at them through
Infrared.
thermal imaging.
Yep.
If we got closer, is there glass to look through?
There's no glass. The whole medical area is open.
It's just
So they're
it's
just on the
open.
far side of the room.
Yep.
God, can I peek my head into?
The only
At
section
least-
that's sectioned off is the intensive care area off to the right-hand side.
this
There's doors to that, but the main med
This
lab is
one.
open.
This one's first. Can I kind of poke my head around the door and see what we're working at? Like, if these guys don't look human at first blush, it might be easier to dispatch them morally for John.
It's dark. Roll survival.
Okay. I have...
You can sub in luck.
No, I know what I want for this.
Okay.
Oh my god, it's a
Hey.
success.
Damn.
Huh. You can confirm there are 6 mole rats and 2 things. The things are human shaped, but they do not end in the correct appendages. One is a human man, it looks like, but his head is that of a giant ant's. One of the eyes is an eye of a bear, and one of his arms is the arm of a praying mantis. The other is a female with a similar setup, except her legs are mammalian, like something with hooves, in place of one of her arms. And she's got like the horns coming out, like the little goat horns protruding from her skull. Her skull is human, and the other arm ends in like an ant feeler.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I said mammalian. I meant ungulate, like a hooved animal, yeah. Sorry.
Cloven hoof.
Yes.
Give me a second to check my pockets. No. Okay.
They don't have pocket grenades to sneak into them? Damn it.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking, getting back out there and telling somebody to throw a grenade in.
Yeah. You've rolled, so you
Stealth
can say a
boy.
few words, and then we're moving on to John.
Yeah, can I fall back then, joining the rest of the party, using my movement for there, and then I whisper, "There's 2 of them. John, they look like ant-headed monsters. I think you're fine to toss a grenade in."
Oh. I don't have a grenade, but I think I have something that might illuminate the situation. And John pulls out a lighter and a Molotov cocktail.
Oh no.
Okay. All right, John, it's your turn.
All right.
Why are we
So-
setting the place on fire?
Molotov would be throwing.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
So
Or
John,
explosives, I guess.
Fires in a confined space are never a problem.
Especially in the medical wing when there's gases, etc.
Yep.
And other supplies we want, and we need to go
Yeah,
down
but-
another 2 stories.
but it's
Yeah.
dark. You know,
No problem at all.
I want to help you guys find your
will-
targets.
It will light this place up.
I could just turn on my headlamp on my
It's
helmet.
So
cool.
you're-
We didn't have the chance to
you're
actually have
actually-
this conversation, so you need to do
Yeah.
what you got to do.
Yeah, no, I was absolutely going to throw this either way. John's going to try and throw this in the midmost of the group to see if he can hurt as many as possible. But if that's not how you're going to rule this to work, I'll just throw it at one of the 2 humanoids.
Yeah, that's fine. Go for it. Where exactly it lands is mostly based on successes. Okay, you got 0 successes, but it doesn't matter. You always hit. You wanted to land in the middle of the group, so it lands in the middle of the group. Please roll damage.
I think he got a superpower or something.
Okay. Can you please explain what persistent means?
Yes, allow me to find that
I
page
assume
in the
it's an
book,
AoE.
and then I will
Well,
explain it.
persistent
Well-
means that it happens
Doesn't
every
go
single
away.
turn.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yep.
it continues to happen on their turns. I'm just going to find the exact explanation for it. If you give me one moment.
Effects is on page.
Yeah, here it is. If one or more effects are rolled, the target suffers the weapon's damage again at the end of their next and subsequent turns for a number of rounds equal to the number of effects rolled. So in this case, 3.
Nice. Okay.
The target can spend a major action to make a test to stop persistent damage early with a difficulty equal to the number of effects rolled.
Right, because they are on fire. Gotcha. Okay. Do
3
they take
damage
this-
for 3 extra turns.
Yeah, so they take that same damage and you don't roll the damage each time. Okay. All right, you light everything in that room on fire. And possibly there's some things you probably shouldn't have lit on fire. Linens and cases and tapestries and so on go up in flames as well. But you can hear the screeches of the little rat creatures as they as they are lit aflame, and you can also hear the horrid mixture of human screech and insectoid like scream that the two mutants give out as well. And there are now 8 things on fire, shuffling down the hallway towards the 5 of you.
Great.
Over to you, Nick.
Nick?
Hmm.
Oh, right.
Dr. Nick Riviera.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Dr. Nick.
It looks like we still have all of our targets here. Tell me a little bit more about the medical bay that we're looking at in terms of what else is in here now that we have a source of light.
Fire.
Yes, from the fire. There's some beds. Some of them have been overturned. Some of them are still upright. There's those little like curtain. Well, they're not curtains up anymore. The curtains are on the ground, and some of them are on fire now. But there's rods across the ceiling where they might have had curtains that they could have drawn open and closed. Like I said, there's like a little intensive care / ICU that has its own doors off to the side.
So,
and then
important
there's, like I
question
said, there's an
then.
office at the back.
Generally speaking, an ICU will require compressed oxygen. They will require, oftentimes they'll have a canister or two of liquid oxygen, in fact, on hand so that they can service the needs of someone who needs intubation.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a fire and you have liquid oxygen, you have an explosion.
Mm-hmm.
If it's locked away, it's fine.
How close is the fire right now to the ICU area?
It's getting pretty close because they were in the far corner, and now they are shambling. Well, the mole rats are much faster than the abomination, so they're all shambling now towards you guys who are at the 5 of you are actually right next to the intensive care unit. The ICU doors are actually pretty much right next to you. Are shambling towards you.
Classic.
Yeah.
All right. In that case, I am going to make a medicine roll to see if I can identify where the liquid oxygen is being kept in this ICU.
Okay.
And direct us the hell away from it before it goes boom on us.
Yes, makes perfect sense.
All right.
2 successes. Okay, you are immediately able to identify and pinpoint where in the room they keep it.
All right. This is not going to be pleasant. And Dieth turns to the rest of the group. We have to run through them to the other side right now. That fire is spreading in this direction, and we are sitting on, a few kilograms worth of liquid oxygen.
Which I should add, you never would have seen if I hadn't lit up the room.
Thanks,
A+
John.
work, John. Much appreciated.
I have a headlamp, you know.
Parent, I'm going to rely on you to forge us a path, and then we all have to follow you as quick as we can.
Okay.
On it, boss.
Pain
Dog.
train this shit.
That was kind of the idea.
Pain train, yeah. Murphy, your turn.
Light them more on fire.
Well, if that fire reaches that oxygen, it's less about fire.
Yeah.
Because at that point, it will consume all of the oxygen in this area. You don't have any more fire after that, just to rubble.
Knowing now that we are trying to move to the other side of the room, Murphy's going to do so.
Okay. Can you please roll? No, you hover. Never mind. I don't need you to roll anything. Okay, you make it across the room pretty safely.
Nice. Nothing attacks him as he tries to go basically through them.
So, the mole rats are too much lower than him, and the abominations are still too far away.
Cool.
So, all right. Yeah. So you make it to the other side of the room successfully, Murphy, and you do spy the door that reads medical officer's office.
Got it.
So you can also spy inside in the dim lighting that there is a computer terminal.
As you can see, it is safe to cross, gentlemen.
All right, Errant Ways, your turn.
Okay, so you said there's like desks and beds and everything in here?
Yep. Yeah. Some of them are scattered, some of them are upright.
Cool. What's the closest thing to me?
Like one of those medical gurneys.
Medical gurneys. Okay. I'm going to take one of them, flip it on its side, and basically use it as a plow in front of me to plow everything out of our way.
Ah, nice.
And
The
give us a
shopping
clear
trolley.
path, and then hopefully by doing that, that also tries to contain a bit of the fire and contain them, because I'm like trying to shove literally everything off to like if I go along the left side and I clear a path, I want everything shoved kind of to the right with this gurney.
Gotcha. Athletics? Athletics.
Athletics? Okay.
Roll for big punchies.
Mole plow.
Okay.
Hey.
Great. So you managed to start, like you said, mole plowing through the things. The flames lick you, but you're armored enough and moving fast enough that you managed to get around most of it.
Also, if it's only 3 damage, I soak that anyways. So.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You managed to whack a few of the moles, who sort of go flying or splaying across the ground. And the one of the things, the one with the long sort of praying mantis arm, tries to take a swipe at you on one side as you pass.
Son of a bee.
Let us see what happens. No, I need to roll to hit first.
Yeah, roll to hit, then roll damage. Location.
Okay.
Why do they always, regardless of how low it is, how do they always hit me?
I don't know. I got a 17. What's that?
Left leg.
Left leg. Okay, so they swipe at your leg. Or piercing. It's piercing. They have 1 piercing, so they ignore 1 of your DR.
No.
Okay. So they swipe at the armor, and you hear this like the sound of a saw grating metal or whatever. Neither really comes out worse for wear, but more significantly, you don't come out worse for wear, so you keep on trucking.
I'm like, hey, down, boy.
And then
down.
now at the end of their turn, they take 3 damage from being on fire.
It's true, and now they take 3 damage for being on fire. 2 of the moles have been squishied by Aaron's plow mechanics.
Yay.
The remaining 4 moles are not doing well, as they are still on fire and taking damage.
They're cooking quite rapidly.
Just don't run into the oxygen canisters.
The 2 creatures are there.
Bobs.
No. The 2 abominations continue to shamble forward. One is going to take a swipe at Noah, and the other one is going to take a swipe at John. So.
If I can, after I clear the way, I would try to like stay in the way so everybody can get past me, and then I would be the last one out.
I see. Okay, I was under the impression you were taking this all the way to the other side. I'm
taking it all the way to the other side and hoping that I would draw their attention with loud commotion.
You have, but they've also noticed they're not doing any damage, so they've turned. So.
Well, that's too smart of them. They're supposed to be stupid.
You never established that.
Some part of them must still be human. All right, so this is the one going for you, Noah. No, nothing.
I've got 2 defense, so.
If it was me, it would have hit.
And then this is the one going for you, John. Nothing.
Wow.
Okay.
Easy.
All right, and Noah, it's your turn.
Excellent. Which one just swiped at me?
The one that has like the ant arm.
Excellent.
One of them has a praying mantis arm. One of them has an ant arm. That's how I'll identify them.
Okay. I will shoot the one with the ant arm.
Okay.
I will aim. First,
Okay.
I will aim.
Yep, minor action.
Then I will shoot it wherever the shots may lay, I guess. I will do
Okay.
3 bullets.
Okay.
Or are you doing a called shot?
I just
No,
aimed.
he's not. That's why he's saying he's wherever the shots may lay. So he's not making a call shot. He's just doing the
Okay.
aim minor action.
Yeah, so
Hey, go for it.
you get to re-roll with aim.
Yeah, go for it.
3 successes.
Okay.
Oh, you got 69. Nice.
69.
Nice.
The defense was 2, so you have 1 left over, which you can use immediately or put in the pool. I think the pool might be full though.
I will use it immediately then.
Okay.
Yeah, the pool's full.
What can I do that on?
Extra damage. You can add a damage die.
Yeah, extra damage.
And don't forget to add the damage from increasing your
What?
fire rate. So. Oh no! Oh dear.
Hang on.
Did you
hang
add
on
the
one
extra
sec.
dice?
No, I didn't.
Okay, well maybe quick roll that. Add the die from the momentum, add the die from the fire rate. Because you obviously clicked it before I finished speaking.
Sorry. Add the die for the momentum and the die for the fire rate. That's 2 combat die, then?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What? Okay, hold on.
Wow.
Is this actually
Oh,
failing,
no.
or is this just not working properly?
Let me roll my damage real quick.
Well, there are two blanks on every d6. It is possible.
No, hold on.
Yeah,
Yep.
No.
Okay,
Damn, I
hold
should
on.
have saved that roll.
Yeah.
Let me burn one. No, I guess it's fine. Okay, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, you're just unlucky, it
I
seems.
just happen to not be lucky.
Sorry, mate.
Um,
You managed to hit them, but you hit a very well armored insectoid part of their anatomy and just bounces
Nice.
off.
Damn.
Give me a sec. Give me.
You can spend two action points and take another major action.
Once. Hold on.
That was a
No,
good
that's
hit.
that is damage dice. Once per combat encounter, you may re-roll all the combat die for a single damage roll without spending any luck points.
Okay, do that. So 7. Make sure you roll 7.
So roll your pistol and add 3.
Yeah.
5 damage.
Hey.
There we go. All right. Hit location.
So roll for hit location 19.
What's 19?
Right leg.
That
Right
is
leg,
the
okay.
right leg.
Okay. Not quite a crit because they do have a little bit of DR.
But if you want, you can re-roll that damage or that hit location because you have the reflex sight.
That's true.
I can do that. I would like to do that then.
Okay. 13.
13
It's
is
right arm.
the right arm.
Right arm.
So
Okay.
the ant arm?
Yeah. Well, no, the ant arm's their left arm.
Okay.
The right arm's human. No,
That's
the right arm
probably
is
good.
goat. I said that's right. So, all right. Yeah. So they take the bullet right in the arm. Again, the creature gives out some kind of terrible hiss and scream at the same time. Sort of stumbles back a little bit. Again, still on fire. Okay, John.
All right, John is going to start by sprinting across the room.
Okay. Can you make an athletics, please?
Sure, certainly. Not great.
Okay, you make it across the room, but the flames do lick you. Please take 3 damage.
Okay. And
Current is
then,
major. You still have your minor action.
yep.
Fast
Please.
shot. Take a second major action. Combat used to make a range. Okay, yeah. Very good.
We're down to 6 AP.
Yep.
I will use my hunting rifle
Mhm.
on, I guess, well, one of them is in combat with,
Hold
Noah?
on. What gun did you
Noah.
have out first? Because if it takes a minor action to change your weapon, you might not be able to do that since
Well,
you use your sprint.
I had a Molotov cocktail originally.
He didn't have any gun out.
So
He
I had
mentioned
no
he had the
gun out.
shotgun, but he didn't have the shotgun. He didn't have the gun
Well, I
out.
put that away when I went for the
Yeah.
Molly because it was still
Yeah.
top of the combat. I figured that would be fine, but
That's
We're
fine.
already drunk. No more cocktails.
Anyways, don't worry too much about that.
Okay, I wanted to
I
make
haven't-
sure.
I haven't
one
used the
engaged-
minor action anyways, so if I have to use it.
The one engaged with Noah is looking very bad, and then there's the other one, like I said, with the praying mantis arm. I keep
You know
wanting
what?
to say manta ray.
I'll go for the one with the praying mantis arm. That seems kind of not great.
Yeah.
Seems
Okay.
worse.
What kind of head did that one have?
The ant
It's
head.
the ant head.
That one's an ant head. Yeah, I'll shoot it right in the head.
Okay. 3 successes. Okay. Difficulty for call shot would be 3, so no extra banks. You hit it anyways, but I'm just thinking about whether you bank anything.
Gotcha.
Okay, yeah, you hit true in the head. So go ahead and roll damage. Okay.
3 with piercing 1.
3
on
piercing
all
1,
of
and they're
them.
all piercing. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So all 3 hit. Great.
All I can roll are effects, it would seem. Not that I'm complaining.
Okay. The creature takes the bullet in the head, and you can see a mixture of red and green blood ooze out. So whatever red and green together make, that's what it looks like.
Brown.
Thank you. It's brown. Ugh. Yeah. So that drips down from the forehead, sort of trailing into one of its eyes. One of its terrifying, creepy bear eyes. I mentioned it had the eyes of a bear, but the head was a man. So.
That's weird. I don't like it.
Yeah. And it trails into one of his eyes, and again, it gives out this horrible chittering, sort of screeching noise. So, Doctor?
So we've got some chittering, sad, damaged dudes here, and otherwise, basically a few mole rats who are on fire, who are likely to run over this way and get close to dangerously flammable and explosive things. So Dieth is going to take his own advice and hightail it across the floor.
Okay.
And there's still one. Both of the abominations are still standing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're both looking pretty bad.
All right. So Dieth is going to scurry across the floor, but he's not the sort to sprint.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't really work well for him. So he's going to walk and spray instead.
Okay. Take 3 damage from the flames, and then go ahead and make your attack.
Alrighty. Ow, 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 ow. I'm going to use my quick hands.
Ooh.
When you make a ranged attack, you may spend 2 AP to double the fire rate of your gun for that attack.
Okay.
Oof.
2 action points. What's the fire rate on your gun?
4.
Oh, doubled it to 8.
8?
Okay.
And we're burning through a lot of our AP, guys.
So that drops us to 4 action points, but it does increase your fire rate to 8. Successes is enough. You hit him. I'm going to roll hit location. Which one were you attacking?
I was attacking the one that looked less damaged.
Okay, so that was the one. So that was the one John engaged with. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's a 1. What's that?
That's the head.
Okay, you hit in the head. Roll damage, taking into account whatever fire rate you're using. Oh, I thought you were going to roll extra for the fire rate.
It said fire rate 8, but it only rolled 4.
It only rolled 4. Yeah.
Hmm.
That's odd. Just add extras. What's the base roll of the? There we go. Okay. 4 and 6 is 10. And you have vicious. I don't know what vicious is.
For every effect, it does an extra damage.
Wow. Okay.
So it's actually 14.
It's 14. You eviscerate it. It's completely annihilated.
Good old bloody mess.
Absolutely. Like his head just explodes, like scanner style.
That woke me
Guts
up.
fly everywhere, and what's left of it falls to the ground.
Yeah. So Dieth sort of combat walks his way forward, sprays the creature up, and then leaves the target on the head as the head simply explodes out the back, all the viscera and gore going across the back wall, and then Dieth just keeps walking as though he were tracking the target before realizing that he's done with it.
Right.
Oh, you want to hear a fun fact? All that damage Dieth just did, it still wouldn't get through my head armor.
So.
All 14 of it?
Okay, Mr. Big. Okay, Mr. Big Dick.
Stop gloating. Pride
It only
goeth,
looks
my
big
friend.
because it's got a powered cod piece.
That's where he keeps his fusion core, if you know what I mean.
Is that
over
what
you,
the
Murphy.
ladies call it?
What's left going on? What is left?
There's 3 burning mole rats who will probably be dead at the end of the round, and there's 1 more abomination who's currently engaged with Noah.
Oh. Burning, you say?
Mm-hmm.
No,
Everything's on
don't.
fire.
Burn.
So.
Burn people.
Burn people.
Burning, you say? I can burn.
I would love to burn that one dude.
Oh no. But the oxygen, we just covered this already.
It's not in the ICU. We're fine.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do what I just said. I think everything is good for that on this. No additional dice. Haha. That's fine.
And you made sure to change it from last time, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The flamer goes out into the room, setting a few additional things in the room on fire, but unfortunately does not land on his target of the abominations. Unfortunately. Back to you, Mr. Ways.
I've gotten those dreadful curtains, sir.
Why is it that I'm on damage control? Crying out loud. How do you throw a cocktail?
Ways, just save my life over here.
So now that I've cleared a path, I want to make my way back and grabbing the nearest large object. I want to plow my way back towards everybody, kind of trying to corral both the fire and all of the big boys to try and contain this to a smaller area. So rather than just killing the guy, I'm trying to contain them in a mess of beds and desks and other crap, and so that the fire also doesn't keep spreading as badly.
Okay. Survival? No, you can roll athletics. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay, great. You are successful. The creature is quarantined. Medical jargon.
Yeah, so basically I'm trying to create like a big barrier between us and all the bad stuff in the room, so that we have a clear path and they can't reach us, and the fire also can't spread because it has like a burnout zone type of idea.
Right. Okay. Excellent. And that brings us to their turn, and the rest of the mole rats burn.
Yay.
And the abomination, now sort of trapped behind tables, takes a couple of feeble swipes. Takes a couple of futile swipes at Noah, who's still probably the closest, but now finds his path sort of blocked. So, back to you, Noah.
Is it in position I could just coup de grace it?
Yes.
I do so.
Alright. The creature is dead. However, the fire is still spreading to the ICU, so I would still probably advise you move to the other side.
Will do. I have some energy resistance on my suit. If this is doing 3 damage, I should be able to soak that.
I don't think that's the case, because then I would have soaked mine as well.
Yeah, sorry. This is 3 damage, no soak. Sorry. So
that's not how fire works.
Or I can let you roll athletics to try to dodge it.
Ooh, I can try that.
Okay.
Well, I tried that. All right, I took 3 then.
Okay. Please note that, and then you make it to the other side.
Done.
Okay, very good. The rest of you make it to the side. The fire continues to spread to the ICU, and I would probably... There's a voice from on high advising the five of you that you'd probably be safest by ducking into the medical officer's office there.
Is there
And
no
taking
way that I
shelter.
could try and contain it?
Oh,
Because that was what I was trying to do, is basically
I
trying to contain it and making sure it can't spread more.
okay, well
If-
then I will need a survival roll from you then.
Okay.
Keep in
I'm go-
mind that
I'm
the
going
kind
the
of
opposite.
explosion we're talking about here would definitely do damage to even you.
That's
I'm going
fine.
in the office.
I'm trying to avoid the explosion.
Mm.
So we can spend points to get an extra D20 to roll, right?
One action point gives you an extra one, 2 gives you...
Okay.
Or sorry, 3 gives you 2, and 6 gives you 3.
I'm gonna use.
Then in character, I'll just go, Errands, just get out of there.
Well, if somebody didn't set a fire, we wouldn't have to worry about an explosion. So now I need
I've
to try
already-
and contain it.
I've already said to you, I made myself clear before we even started the fight. You could have stopped me. You could have. I point all.
There was
We're
not
wait-
enough time
we're
for us to be
wasting
arguing.
time.
Get
10
behind
seconds.
something.
I am
Into the
spending an
office,
action
now!
point to roll survival. So
Go for it. 5 seconds.
don't give me that, Nathan.
3 seconds.
Then roll.
Ah,
I'll pause while you're rolling.
okay, thank you. Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't roll my extra die. Hold on. This would be endurance, survival.
Oh dear.
Uh-oh.
Okay. There's a tense...
Can I assist?
Yes.
I would like to roll to assist.
Okay. You need to
All
roll
right.
the same thing, though, and it still needs to be survival.
All right, I'm going to roll survival.
1 die.
1 die. No, not that. Survival. How do you do survival just 1 die?
You do
okay.
a quick roll at the top left,
Yeah.
and then you need to
can
pick
assign your-
endurance survival.
Okay, quick roll. Top left.
You see the image of the D20.
Which is there. Okay. Attribute is endurance. Skill is survival. Roll.
Okay. I'll give you a choice, DF. You can use your success to mitigate Errant Ways' complication. Or you can use it to help him put out the fire more quickly, and both of you will suffer some more minor consequence.
I would like to offer another option,
Okay, I'll hear it.
which is I don't think that Dieth has anything that he can do to help put out the fire, but he could potentially move the oxygen. Right, they are canisters.
Oh, yes.
That's kind of what I was thinking too.
So how about Dieth just rushes across as best he can, grabs the canisters and moves them away from the fire as Errant Ways continues to deal with it.
Okay,
It's
working
like,
together.
there's only so much space that he can move them into, but he can move them a little further away.
Okay. Working together, then you are able to both try to contain the fire as best as possible, and move the oxygen canisters away.
Bitches.
Errant Ways, to answer to your complication,
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you 2 options.
Okay.
Number 1, something very big and heavy falls from the ceiling or from the side or whatever, shaken by the sort of spreading flame.
Mm-hmm.
Which doesn't hurt you exactly, but knocks you a little bit, like you're on a roller coaster or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Next roll you take would have an increased complication as you sort of shake yourself out.
Okay.
Option number 2, something manages to nick you in between, a connecting plate in the armor, and you take a bit of HP damage.
Well, that is a tough one. Do I finally take some HP damage? You know what? Let's go with the complication. I feel it's more thematic for something heavy to follow me and me just be kind of mildly irritated.
All right, very good. So there we go. So you managed. So the two of you together managed to contain the fire and get the oxygen out of the way. There'll be no explosion today. Thank you very much.
Whew.
One of the heavy support rods manages to crumble from the ceiling and sort of whacks you in the back of the head and clumps to the ground. You're okay, but it sort of jostles your head inside the helmet a little bit. So,
See,
next
with
roll you make
it,
will pumping complication 1920.
yeah, that's fine.
So,
The funny thing is with it
Yeah.
falling on me, that would be the ending of one anime episode, and then the start of the next episode would be me getting up.
it's true.
Standing up out
Speaking
of
of
the
which,
fire and the
next
smoke.
week on a walk through the wastes.
And then the peanut gallery would be like,
He's dead. Oh wait, no, he's fine.
and then the narrator would be like, did errant ways really bite the dust? Tune in next time.
Exactly. So, however, we still have 10 minutes, so that's not how we're ending it. Instead, the fire eventually subsides and the world is quiet here.
All right, whose bright idea was it to throw a Molotov cocktail in a place that could basically go up in flames?
At this point, I'm not sure that actually matters. The most important thing is the whole place is not burned up, and we can still get into the ICU to scrounge for materials if necessary. Hooray! We've done it, gentlemen. Great job.
Yes, that's
I'm
not
in a
worried about
suit.
assigning blame.
Now, I'm in a suit, and I gotta say, that beam fucking hurt.
You want me
I'm
to
glad
take a look?
I'm glad you took it compared to anybody else.
Come over here, maybe I can see if it did you any damage.
I'm fine, doctor. It's superficial. It's just gotta get my bearings for a bit.
All right, let me know if you have any ringing in the ears, blurred vision, that sort of thing.
You got it.
Doctor, I've got a singe that you're probably going to have to look at later, but for now...
Let's
can
see if we
move
can
on.
find anything. Just taking a quick look around here before we move on down.
Noah uses a stim pack.
Okay, heals 4 HP. Heals in one of two ways. It can be applied using the take chem minor action, healing 4 HP, or treat an injury immediately. It can be applied as part of blah, 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 blah. Okay, so you heal 4 HP. Okay.
I'd like to just quickly scrounge the medical center here to see if there's anything worth taking away with us.
I don't need you to roll. There's no duress at the moment. You do find 2 stim packs.
Neat.
Excellent.
You find some other stuff, but the rest is all junk. Like they would be unsafe to use.
All right, I add them
Use
to
them.
my very small collection of stim packs. If anybody needs one of these, just let me know.
John walks over to Errant and kind of pats his armor on the shoulder. Dang, that beam falling was crazy. This old vault, could have happened at any time. It's crazy this place is falling apart like that. You doing okay, bud?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just glad it was me that took it and not somebody else. So,
As sad as I am to have seen you get hit with a giant beam, I also agree. I'm glad it was you.
just please.
Not because I dislike you or anything, because you got the armor.
Yeah, just please next time, maybe reconsider the Molotov cocktail.
It was dark.
John,
Murphy, are you...
and I flicked my headlamp on. I
I've
have a
known you.
headlamp.
I've known you for like a week and a half, and I've never seen you use that. How was I supposed to know? But I'll remember in the future. I can promise
Okay.
you that.
That's all I ask, John.
Murphy, are you damaged?
I seem to be quite fine, sir.
Excellent.
By now, all of you have noticed, like I said, the med officer's office. It looks like an office. It's got a desk and a chair. So interesting enough, it's one of the few rooms that doesn't look like it's been subject to awful experimentation. It's a little cleaner than the rest of the rooms. And the terminal within is glowing with the same sort of power-saving dim light that the other terminals on level 1 had.
Question: do these terminals also have those mini games that you need to do in order to hack into them?
Well, of course, yes. Duh.
Wait, which mini game is this one?
It's the same one from Fallout 3 where you had to guess the letters or whatever. So
I know the exploits on there, so I can get as many replenishes and
Yeah,
Yeah.
dead removals as possible. So
It's like
Yeah.
mastermind, basically.
I remember doing that too.
Yeah.
oh, it's a number muncher.
No. To
Why
beat,
does that sound like a stripper name?
to beat the first 10 levels of Number Muncher to find all the messages on the computer.
Anyways.
Okay.
I want to check the computer.
All right. And the computer has, in fact, a few entries on it. This is the first one.
Okay,
Okay, I guess that's the character
There's the
limit.
character limit.
there you go. Trial
So
number
that's-
37.
Yeah.
Objective: Apple successfully transported into patient 37's stomach. Great. Outcome: calculations were slightly off. Ooh, Apple ended up in patient 37's appendix. Patient died. Well, I guess this proves that it wouldn't have turned his appendix into an apple. Trial 59. Objective: Apple successfully transported into patient 59's stomach. Outcome: Apple ended up in patient 60's stomach, who was lying next to him. Note: at least no one died, right? I was getting worried that people would stop accepting the died of appendicitis excuse. Oh dear.
Well,
Now, I'm no scientist, clearly, but, you'd think they'd maybe start with trials that would be less potentially fatal. Maybe like moving Apple from table A to table B instead of inside of person's stomach.
Well, John, these are trial 37 and 59. I'm sure that those were trials 2 through 4, and then they simply moved on to animals, and then to humans, and, well...
Yeah, but
You
that
know from
also
there.
means they went through trial 38 to 58 to get the apple into somebody's stomach.
Yeah, which
Well,
and the
that's
fact
20
fact
people
that-
they killed.
people were accepting died of appendicitis as an excuse means that the general population of this vault believes, I guess, appendicitis is catching. I don't know.
Anyone know any better?
Doctor, please examine us for appendicitis after we leave.
Here's the second entry you find.
There's another entry here. I'm going to officially declare Phase 1 a failure. Phase 1? I mean, what were we thinking? What was the ultimate goal, swapping genitals around? Oh, No, we have bigger goals than that. I assume that means they don't have bigger genitals to swap.
well then.
I imagine that we just killed the man with the largest genitals in the vault. Good job, everyone.
I think you mean the ant with the largest genitals.
The Ant-Man.
Well, based on what we just saw, it seems that these were successful in phase 1 was quite a long time ago.
These
Alright,
are
and
not
here's the
time-stamped, so yes, these could be from quite a while.
third entry you find.
There is one more. Phase 2 is underway, and we have stored the rest of the new life forms in medical storage. We now see the new possibilities of using this technology for long-range travel. If we can overcome the barriers of sightline and object permanence, we can hop from here to Europe in a heartbeat.
See? That's what I'm talking about. Macro teleportation is where it's at.
They started
Like-
small.
The kind that delivered you to us, John Smith.
If what they were working on in phase 2 was macro teleportation, I've got like super macro teleportation.
Indeed.
Mine would be like phase 3, maybe even 4.
Perhaps. Okay. And then the final entry is just a string of numbers.
The
Marked
final
o-
entry is
Marked
just a
Overseer's password.
string of numbers. Murphy, do
Yes,
remember
sir.
this password: 315-67234. That, gentlemen, is for the Overseer. I don't know if that's for his room or his terminal or anything, but it is a password for the Overseer.
Very well. Let's go give it a try.
Okay. We shall proceed to the Overseer of the Vault next time on Wrong Side of the Wall, a walk through the wastes. We have many more secrets to discover, and of course, the biggest question of all, why does the broker want any of this? And can he really make all of the desires of our characters come true? We'll find out on the 6th and final episode of A Walk Through the Wastes, I Am Order. Until
That's
then,
not ominous at all.
Have a good night.
Nice.
Yes,
Take care.
I am order a double cheeseburger, please.
Sir, would you like fries with that?
Goodbye.
that's all for now.